fait de l'économie
Les gentils
et qui est à court d'argent.
les méchants,
Selena Rothschild Bercy,
les gentils
c'est les petits commerçants.
les méchants.
What you're listening to there, ladies and gentlemen, and what you're seeing if you're watching on television or streaming live on Infowars.com/show, sort of the unofficial theme song for the Yellow Vests. It looks like they're having a great time. It's like a group of high school kids. The song, of course, is asking who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. Is this so hard to understand? Are the good guys people who are struggling to just make their lives livable? Are they the people who are struggling to pay their gas bills and the people who just want a little bit of freedom and a little bit of, just the ability to live their lives in the way they want to live? Are they the good guys or the bad guys? What about the bankers? What about the big bankers? And what about the people who are in control, the people who are bringing in mass amounts of migrants from the third world? Are they the good guys or the bad guys? Is this so hard to understand? And this piece of art, this music video, truly is a masterpiece of propaganda in my professional opinion. Propaganda, of course, simply meaning to express an idea or put forward a political ideology through art or through some sort of public address. That's exactly what that is. It is putting across the happy, young, peaceful, and inviting spirit of the Yellow Vest movement. Now, the question is, what is the response to this movement? What happens when the people of France exercise their right as inheritors of Western civilization to protest, to express themselves, to argue against the dictates of not just their government, but the unelected bureaucrats in the EU? I don't think we make this point enough. Everybody listening to me now, you know that the EU is not elected, right? Does everybody know that? Everybody should know that. The EU, the lawmakers in Brussels report to nobody but themselves. They appoint themselves, they can withdraw themselves or impeach themselves, but the people of America are under the rule and have laws being made by people who they do not have a say as to who it is. They do not represent the French people. No, they represent moneyed interests. They represent themselves. So, and of course, the French government, most governments in Europe are peopled by these same partisans. So what do they do? What do they do when their people have had enough? When they say, you are taxing us at literally the highest percentage in the world. The French people are taxed higher than anybody else. This is a common refrain. And we've explained the reasons. We explained Agenda 21, now called Agenda 30, the UN's plan. We've explained that these taxes are levied ostensibly to lower carbon, ostensibly to protect the earth, much in the same way that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her New Green Deal is ostensibly there to protect the earth. The reality is they are using taxes, they are using the mechanisms of government to force people into cities, to make people poor, and to make them docile and more easily controlled and more dependent on the government, okay? And the French people recognize this. In the next segment, we will be hearing from who I call Dr. Yellow Vest, and he will be explaining exactly the positions of the Yellow Vest protesters. But what do they do? What do they do when the people, the populace, the people they're supposed to represent, rise up against them? French riot police were pictured brandishing Heckler and Koch 3 G36 semi-automatic rifles with 30-round magazines near the Arc de Triomphe in Paris on Saturday afternoon. So they are now intimidating the protesters with live ammunition, military-style rifles. Former French conservative minister Luc Ferry called for live rounds to be used against the Yellow Vest thugs who, quote, beat up police And we can roll the video of the boxer fighting back the police because he says, because this is the person who he's pointing out, he's saying this former pro heavyweight boxer, 37-year-old Christopher Dettinger, who was arrested after squaring off with several French police officers. Totally epic footage. This dude literally does a front flip into the screen and starts punching through the riot shields of the police officers who are armed with batons and body armor, and he's kicking their ass and forcing them back, and just sheer strength of will and physical prowess is beating the crap out of these New World Order foot soldiers who are there to oppress and defeat him. He won't let them. This man is the spirit of Europe. He is the spirit of France. And he is not intimidated by a herd of jackals in police uniforms. So what does Luc Ferry think should happen? He thinks he should be shot. He thinks he should be shot. There you see the flashbang going off, tear gas being deployed. We've seen tear gas canisters deployed from helicopters. Ferry, a full-time philosopher now, cushy job, says, "What I don't understand is that we don't give the means to the police to put an end to this violence." When challenged with the suggestion that the guns might lead to bloodshed, listen to this. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. When challenged with the suggestion that the guns might lead to bloodshed, Ferry said, "So what?" He said, "Listen, frankly, when you see guys beating up an unfortunate policeman on the floor, that's when they should use their weapons once and for all. That's enough." Okay, so the French people go out to protest. The police show up and try to put them down. The French people are uncowed at the threat of violence. They fight back. And this jackass in the French government, formerly a minister, says, "Oh, we should shoot them. Shoot them dead. How dare they question our dictates? How dare they want us to represent them? They are our cattle. They are our slaves. They are the lessers. They are the peasants. We are the important ones. We control France. And if they don't like it, shoot them dead." That is how they respond, ladies and gentlemen. That is how every government will respond when confronted with a problem. That's why the Second Amendment is so important. Now, what else do you have? In Germany, you have the leader of the AfD being stabbed by Antifa, right? You have the AfD headquarters being bombed out multiple times in multiple cities. The AfD, the Alternative for Germany, right-wing political party, is under attack, literally under attack from every corner. And what happens? Germany's domestic spy agency to investigate the far-right AfD. That's right. You come under attack? Oh, but you're right-wing? We investigate you. You're the problem. It's your fault. How dare you provoke the attacks with those words? How dare you have those ideas that we find objectionable? We will beat you up, we will allow you to be stabbed, and we will shoot you in the streets. Bastards!